Okay, I was in London recently, and I saw several books in a bookshop, Foyle's bookshop in London, Charing Cross Road, and I bought 3 books about apples. This is the newest one of these books. It's called Apple by Marcia Reiss, or Marcia Reiss if you want to spell it in English, or Rice if I want to say correctly. The book is published by Reaction Books, and it's printed in China as a printing house, but the first publication date is 2015. The address of the publisher is in London, Sutton Street, Great Sutton Street, number 33. And as you see, the content of the book is about introduction, backyard apples, out of wild, and odd and a lemon. Okay, what is it is that it says the story of the book, then how to make come up with the apples which are sweet, then cider chronicles, how the cider was made, fermenting actually the apple juice, then how the apple was introduced to America, and the good apples, bad apples, misplaced apples, what the metaphors means. The politics of pomology. Okay, China is now actually the biggest producer of apples in the world. 71% of the world apple comes from China, contrary to what people may think is not from America or anywhere else. And there's a good apple variety section, timeline, references, that is important, references. You can pick the next book or source you want to study. Bibliography and associations of websites, acknowledgements, photo acknowledgement, index. The index is a good part of it, so you can find what you are looking for. And the book is a very nice paper, nice and soft to touch. It's a hardback itself. Very nice and good side. Yeah. And what you see, the price of the book, Reaction Book, in the UK is £16, and the US is £27. I actually like the way that they have written. They don't write 15.99p. They just made it round, 16. It shows a simple honesty. Okay, the Apple book is very nice book actually. I read about it, and I chose this one because it actually tells the history of the apples. As you may know or you may not know, the apples were from the Southwest Asia and parts of the Central Asia. And then from there they were introduced to the rest of the world. And from the old continent of Eurasia, they were introduced to Americas. And in the Americas, they used it as a weapon. How they did it? This was to spread the settlers, colonials, through the wilderness of the America. You may have heard the legend of the Johnny Appleseed. Johnny Appleseed's job was to grow apples from seed. He had a nursery. And the trick was that the settlers would buy these apples very cheaply because they were not grafted. They were just growing from seed. And they may even pass it to the Native Americans, the First Nations, who lived already there. 80 millions of them lived in the Americas when the Europeans arrived there, colonials and settlers. And they were encouraging them to actually grow apples. By that, they were creating a legal requirement for ownership by the settlers, and that is that the land must be cleared and cultivated. So through that, the First Nations, the American Indians as they are called, were paving the way for the westward movement of the colonialists and settlers, white settlers who actually acquired land in this very, very clever way. And it is important part of this book is about that, American apple. Then, of course, the Soviet apples and the other apples from other parts of the world. Soviet apples means also Eastern Bloc apples. I have an apple variety called Topaz, for example, from the Czech Republic. And it's the first year actually I've grown this, so we'll see how it is. And this it has a good index about all kind of apples, mostly probably British. Yeah. Flower of the Kent, Fuji. Oh, I'd like to see if there is anything about the Discovery apple. No, I don't see. That's interesting. Okay. So it must be kind of Americanized in that sense. We don't have anything about the important apple that we have in the in England and the UK. Okay. So interesting. This is mostly targeting the American audience. The index also is interesting. You can take a look on that. Although it may have not much about the apples that we know, but that part also has apples which are not available probably in the UK or difficult to find. Of course, you must check first before telling that the one apple is not available in the UK. You have to check the website of the Keeper's Nursery, which has the most extensive collection of the fruit trees I've seen so far anywhere in the world. Definitely in the UK. Good book, nice to study, beautiful pictures, beautiful historical section. And I think it's a must-have if you are interested in apples, if you grow apples for cider, and if you just like apples for eating and culinary use. This is a book for you. Apple by Marcia Reiss, or Reiss, depending how you, in which language you're pronouncing it. And you can buy it from online bookshops or from the actual publisher, reactionbooks.co.uk, at £16. Postage will be added to that. Apples, a book for you. The total page number is actually impressive, 256 pages. If you count that as the last number, 255. Good selection of photographs, interesting. Most importantly, hardback. It will not get damaged when you're studying it. You can keep it. Beautiful, beautifully produced book.